So, is it worth buying an alpha key to try Ashes of Creation? Many people are asking this question now, and it makes sense. The final Alpha 2 phase begins on August 26th. But if you don't follow the project closely, it's not easy to know whether it's actually worth it or not. I'm Flanker, and today I will do my best to help you make an informed decision so that you don't waste your money or miss out on something you could enjoy. Before you decide whether to buy in, there are a few things you really need to understand. First of all, Ashes of Creation is not a finished game and it shouldn't be treated like one. Very often it might feel like you're playing a proper MMO, but still, this is alpha and you should expect alpha experience. Secondly, it is also an open development project, which makes it very different from most other alphas you might have played in the past. This particular phase will last long and you'll actually get to watch the world grow and new content being added over time. Finally, keep in mind that Ashes of Creation faces the very same challenges as any other MMO. Delays, bugs, and technical issues are unfortunately a natural part of the development. The only difference is that with other projects, all of this usually stays behind the scenes, while with Ashes, everything is public. So the next time you see another dollar store rage bait on Reddit or YouTube, consider taking it with a grain of salt. So, what should you expect from the upcoming Phase 3? Right now, it is scheduled to start on August 26 and expected to last for at least a year. Realistically, I would say it could run for a year and a half or maybe even 2, but that's just my personal guess. At the moment, 5 biomes out of 18 are available, as well as a part of the ocean. For comparison, that's roughly 3 times the size of the map in New World, so yeah, the world is already pretty big. When creating a character, you'll have 7 out of 9 races to choose from, and you can start in one of 2 starting zones. The character creator does have some customization options, but nothing too crazy since it's definitely not a priority at the moment. As for archetypes, 7 out of 8 are available. The last one, Summoner, is expected around October, but again, that's more of an estimate than a confirmed date. Speaking of servers, there is currently one planned for the NA region and another one for EU. NA servers are usually a bit more populated and active, while EU servers might be a bit more chill. There are actually quite a few players asking Intrepid to launch just one server instead of 2 again, but so far there has been no official response. Before we talk about the content, I want to quickly mention the graphics. In this video, you're seeing footage from the previous phases recorded in 2K quality. Even right now, the graphics on the PTR server look noticeably better compared to what you're seeing on your screen. I'm not an expert, but apparently it has something to do with the transition to Unreal Engine 5.6. And in general, what you see on YouTube and especially on Twitch is not exactly how the game looks in reality, simply because of the quality loss from streaming and compression. Leveling hasn't really gone through any major changes yet, but it's also not exactly the same as before. Grinding mobs in a group is still the fastest way to level up. At the same time, there are now more quests for early levels, which makes getting through the starting stages a bit quicker. On top of that, the amount of experience you get from side activities, like gathering and bruising for example, has been increased quite a lot, which is definitely good news for anyone who doesn't particularly enjoy grinding mobs. Either way, Phase 3 is going to be long, so even a very casual player will have more than enough time to level up his character. And if you decide to try different archetypes, leveling your next character will always be faster. Firstly, you can gear up your alt right away instead of starting from scratch, and secondly, you will already have some experience and know exactly where to go and what to do to make it quicker. Ashes of Creation is one of those games where artisan skills are not just there for the show, they are an important part of the economy and gameplay. There are 22 artisan skills in total, which are divided into gathering, processing, and crafting. Prior to launch, we expect a number of economy-related changes, some of which are already being tested on the PTR server. It is safe to assume that artisan skills will play a much more significant role in Phase 3 compared to the previous phases. Additionally, this gameplay loop is going to get even deeper in Phase 3. The guild progression system has been reworked, and now players can actually improve their artisan skill efficiency by investing points into the guild skill tree for the specific skills they care about. And yes, this is already in the game, not something we're just hoping for later. We're also expecting individual artisan skill trees for players. I don't think they'll be available right at the start of Phase 3, but I believe we'll see them in the not too distant future. And finally, there's another system many people are waiting for, which is surveying. It is supposed to play a key role in helping gatherers track down resources that spawn in certain locations using specialized surveying tools. As someone who usually finds gathering and crafting in MMOs genuinely fun, I personally can't wait to see how all of this will come together once every system is in place. PvE in Ashes of Creation is a little different from what most players are used to. Right now, there are no instance dungeons or anything like that, so every PvE spot is open world. It's going to stay this way for a while, though not forever. Instance content will eventually arrive in future patches, but I probably wouldn't expect it anytime soon. In the long run, according to Intrepid, about 80% of the content will remain open world and around 20% will be instanced. One of the most recent changes, and one that most players took positively, is the rework of mob aggro mechanics. It will not make mob training completely impossible, but it will make it harder to pull off. Another thing worth noting is how PvE feels in an open world environment like this. Since there is no instant separation, competition over good farming spots can be a real factor. This sometimes leads to spontaneous PvP, guild war declarations, or just awkward standoffs where two groups are trying to farm the same spot. Also, many of the current PvE encounters are designed to push you into grouping up. You can solo some content, but the game really shines when you coordinate with others, whether that's for killing stronger mobs or defending your farming spot from uninvited guests. So if you're used to logging into an MMO, queuing for a dungeon and running it in your own private instance, well, Ashes is going to feel different, a bit more alive and a lot more unpredictable. PvP in Ashes is something that's constantly changing, and every phase feels different from the one before it. That's because how PvP feels depends on a lot of factors: gear progression, stat changes, how abilities work, overall TTK, and so on. For example, in Phase 2, gear progression was very straightforward, enchanting was way too strong, and that led to fast PvP with very low TTK, where a single mistake could get you deleted in a second. In Phase 2.5, TTK was longer, but gear progression felt dull, enchanting was pretty much useless, and diminishing returns were way too punishing. The way all systems and mechanics are interconnected in Ashes is both a blessing and a curse. When one thing changes, it can throw the whole balance off. As for Phase 3, it's kinda hard to predict exactly how PvP will feel, since gear, stats, and DRs have been reworked again. If I had to guess, TTK will probably land somewhere between what we saw in Phases 2 and 2.5, but again, that's just my assumption. In terms of meaningful PvP, I'm actually feeling quite optimistic, mainly because of updates to the caravan system and the fact that some of its long-standing issues have finally been addressed. On top of that, Phase 3 will introduce dynamic lawless zones. I wouldn't expect them to be a game changer, but I'm still curious to see whether they will be popular among the players. At the end of the day, if you like PvP, you're going to find it in Ashes of Creation, and sometimes it will find you first. The node system is one of the core features of Ashes of Creation. It is what lets players literally shape the world around them. By working together, players can develop a node from a Stage 0 wilderness into a Stage 5 city, turning it into the heart of a region. Previously, players could only level up a node to Stage 3, which is a village, but in this phase, you'll be able to push it all the way to Stage 4, a town. On top of that, the vassalship system is coming in as well. This means that smaller nearby nodes can become vassals of a larger parent node, benefiting from its growth while also contributing to it. At the same time, they lose some independence, which can become a reason for interesting political situations between guilds and alliances. Another big change is the new crate system, which changes how players contribute to a node's development. It also gives players more reasons to take part in that process. You still don't have to do it if you don't want to, but now there will be more incentives to get involved, whether that's personal rewards, economic benefits, or simply helping your node grow faster. What's exciting about the node system is how much it can actually change the game world. The political map, the main trade hubs and routes, even the busiest PvP areas, all of that will shift depending on how players grow and manage their nodes. In Phase 3, you'll have more ways to influence these changes, so being active in your node's growth could have a real impact on the world. Before we move on to the most important question of this video, let's quickly sum up what kind of content will be available at the start of Phase 3. For convenience, I've put together this list and I want you to pay special attention to the part at the bottom. Now, I'm sure at least half of you cheeky bastards are already packing your bags and getting your hopes up. But remember, even though it looks and feels like a game where you can, and most likely will have fun, we're still technically testers. So, by all means, enjoy it, explore it, have fun. But also, keep in mind that the main goal here is to help shape the game into what it's meant to be. Purchasing an Alpha 2 key costs $100 and gives you access not only to Phase 3, but also to the next beta phase. On top of that, you get 1 month subscription time at launch, plus $15 worth of embers, the endgame currency used to buy cosmetics. On a side note, Ashes of Creation will not have any pay to win or pay for convenience items in the shop. So, to summarize, it's a one-time purchase, and no, you will not need to buy separate access to beta later. On release, Ashes of Creation will be a subscription-based game with no box cost. The default monthly sub price will be $15, although in some regions it will be lower. And last but not least, keep in mind that you can request a refund within 90 days. So let's talk about the reasons why you might or might not want to buy access to Alpha 2. Starting with the positives, the launch of Phase 3 will give you something very close to the feeling of starting fresh on a brand new server. If you enjoy that early rush with everyone on equal footing, this could be a great chance to experience it. Compared to earlier Alpha phases, the game is now in a much better state, with a larger map, more locations, and more systems in place. Phase 3 is still not a finished product, but it's already several steps closer. And even though it's still in development, it often feels like a real MMO you can sink hours into. You can still have a lot of fun, make friends, and face different challenges together. Another reason in favor is that Phase 3 is expected to last a long time. In past phases, many players were discouraged by the idea of a wipe just a few months in. This time, Intrepid has no plans for wipes during the phase, unless there is a very strong reason, which means you can progress without constantly worrying about losing everything. And finally, if you're an MMO player, you probably know the state of the genre right now isn't exactly inspiring. If you've grown tired of other MMOs and Ashes has caught your attention, it might be worth giving it a try. Worst case scenario, you have 90 days to request a refund. Now, for the other side of the coin. The first and most obvious reason not to buy an Alpha key is the price. At $100, it's not cheap, and for many players it might be a significant expense. If that's a concern for you, it may be smarter to wait until launch. Another thing to consider is that the average player probably won't have enough content to play Ashes non-stop until release. Historically, people tend to play for a month or two at the start of a phase, and then take a break until the next major patch. I expect Phase 3 to hold players' attention for longer, but I still don't think most will stick around for the entire phase. Also, not every change Intrepid makes will always feel like a step forward. Sometimes, certain updates may not land well with the community. Over time, the devs will obviously gather feedback and make adjustments, but in the moment, it can be frustrating. Every improvement is a change, but not every change becomes an improvement. And that's just the reality of game development. And of course, maybe you just want to play a finished and polished game right here and right now. I don't think anybody in the right mind could judge you for that. If that is the case, it might be better to wait for Ashes to fully launch, and in the meantime, enjoy something else. If you're looking for more information about Ashes, don't hesitate to ask anything in comments or join my Discord server where you can reach me directly. Also, if you're watching this video after Phase 3 has already started, there is a good chance I'm streaming right now, so you can not only ask your questions, but also see the game live. All the links can be found in the description and in the pinned comment. I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, your like and subscription will be highly appreciated. I am Flanker, and I'll see you soon.